So warm welcome to the all experts, as also the students who have envisaged the interest in this course on sustainability. Sustainability is going to be the greatest challenge for the humanity at large, for all of us. Mother Earth is under terrible pressure on a multiple fronts, and as we see its consequences, be it on a carbon emission, be it on a other pollution measures, be it on temperature going up, on all sides, it's under terrible pressure to sustain the population. There are a large number of estimates. None of them is an absolutely accurate estimate also, that this Mother Earth can hold around 2 billion people. So against 2 billion people, already we have 8 billion people. But there are estimates which also suggest that if humanity across the globe just change its lifestyle to the need-based requirements, then it can even sustain 40 billion people. But when we talk about 40 billion people, maybe the rich countries have to dramatically cut down on their subsistence on a clean water, be it an energy which is 3 to 4 times more than the other people, so on so forth. On the other hand, the downtrodden populations in a different continents may have to continue with kind of a subsistence living also. Now, when you look at the population growth on this Mother Earth, you will be surprised to know that by 1804, we had a 1 billion people on the Mother Earth. And this 1 billion became 2 billion in 1927. So you can look at the number of years it has taken to rise from 1 billion to 2 billion. But last 12 years, when we look at it from maybe 1974 to 22, my population has doubled. And today we have already crossed 8 billion. So the moment we talk about the 8 billion population on this Mother Earth, the requirements, be energy, be it water, be it the other requirements in terms of transportation, food, every front, it's going up. And it is in that context that the Sustainable Development Goals under 17 categories were chalked out at a global level. And there has been emphasis in terms of how to achieve the one of the major goal in terms of a zero carbon emission by maybe 2080 or so. And for if you look at the Indian economy. Now, looking at this data, you would find that the opportunities which are going to come in the near future for the ventures to come out would be in a sustainable area, be it a clean energy, green technology, be it water, be it a land utilization, so on and so forth. And this is the one area which would require the greatest policy support. At the same time, greatest innovation to come from the young minds across the world and across the country as India is concerned. Now, as it is, what is evident is the temperature is going to go up by 1.1 to 1.4 in a coming maybe a decade or so. My impact in terms of people getting affected through extreme rains, maybe earthquakes, etc., is going to increase globally as well as in India also. And if we have to safeguard ourselves amongst all those eventualities, we'll have to look at in what way we can come out with the technology-driven solutions to the vital problems which the humanity at large is facing. Now, if we look at the last few years in India, around 22,000 companies or startups have come which have focused on renewable energy, agri-tech, and the green technologies. 22,000 companies. And 61 of these companies have been identified as by the Inc. 42, being in the area of clean tech startups, which are going to make a major contribution in years to come. But when we look at the startups, you'll find although the 3 years between 21 to 23, the funding was going up, but 24, 23, 24, the funding has dramatically come down for the sustainable ventures also, which basically again reveals that as far as the VC funders are concerned, they always look at this as an opportunity on one side, but as challenging opportunity on the other side. And they also don't feel very comfortable as far as the mega fundings are concerned. Today, when we look at the unicorns, maybe 117 in India and more than 1,000 in USA, the each unicorn might have raised 5 to 8, 10, $12 billion. But when you look at the average funding by the sustainable ventures coming out in India and abroad, my average funding has been far low. But the fact remains that the solution to these vital problems would come through a deep technology, which would require a lot of research and development initiatives and efforts, and in turn would require a lot of money also. So there is a need in terms of looking at the new and the better funding solutions to the problems, need in terms of a human ingenuity to come out with a solution to the vital problems which the humanity at large is facing. And these would be basically in the four key areas. My renewable energy would be the one, the development of electric transportation system would be the second, battery technology would be the third, and the hydrogen technologies and the carbon capture would be the fourth. In these four areas, you'll find there are opportunities which may be to the extent of maybe a few trillion dollars, $7 to $8 trillion opportunities are there. But then question is how to gear up our energies, how to gear up our mind, how to gear up the system, how to gear up the ecosystem, which can support the ventures coming out in the area of sustainability by the young minds through providing a new ecosystem coupled with the new policies from the government, and the third, how to fund them appropriately, reasonably, as far as the years to come are concerned. So it is in this context when we look at it, new ventures are coming slowly in the area of sustainability. There has to be far more accelerated pace with which it has to come. Opportunities are going to be very big in years to come. In fact, there are certain universities, as per my own understanding globally, which have been basically focusing their efforts in terms of sustainable development goals and the ventures in that particular direction. And that kind of a thought process has to be permeated in an Indian economy in the years to come, whereby the students get more geared about, more incentivized, more encouraged to take up these challenges, to come out with the technology solutions which are scalable and sustainable as for the vital requirements, be it a clean energy, clean water, and pollution-related issues are concerned. Now, in this context, when we look at it as the Indian economy is concerned, by 2050, if a net zero carbonization has to be achieved, there would be a huge investment in a clean energy that would be required. There will be a decarbonization of industrial output, be it in a cement, be it a steel, be it in any manufacturing sector. Today, we are shifting our emphasis from a service-driven economy to manufacturing-driven economy, make in India kind of an effort, but that would require simultaneously a great support in terms of decarbonization as far as industrial output is concerned. And both these are very much possible with the talent and the human minds which are there in India, which is the greatest strength of the Indian economy also. So it is in that context, we at BITS Pilani had taken up this as an initiative. We are likely to come out with a center of excellence in the area of sustainability also in the soon, being supported by one of the alumni. But more than that, the kind of ecosystem which we have been developing over the last few years, we would like to support more and more ventures in the area of sustainability. A brief on that, if I just quickly share with you, we have certain courses, new venture creation course, which gets geared up by the alumni for successful entrepreneurs. We have a creating and leading an entrepreneurial organization course. We have some courses in the area of a minor in entrepreneurship. But above all, this was the latest course which was introduced last year on a sustainability, which has attracted a good deal of attraction by the students for the obvious reason in terms of opportunities around that. But these courses get supported by the student initiative in terms of CEL, which we say the Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership. So students take their own initiative in terms of organizing the competition, which may be sustainability driven, also the business plan competition, the talks, the workshops. But all these efforts in terms of an ecosystem, which is strongly backed up by the institution, the support by the institution, and by the alumni, has further led in terms of providing a seed funding support to these ventures through our incubators. We have an incubator, Pilani Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Society in Pilani. Similarly, we have incubators in other campuses. These incubators provide wide-ranging services from an incorporation of companies to mentoring to support in terms of seed funding. And these opportunities, I'm sure the students would take more and more advantage to come out with the ventures which would really help the global economy, at the same time Indian economy, which has the greatest challenge because today we are one amongst the country which are aspiring to become third largest economy, but at the same time have a highest population. So our challenges are far more deeper, far more critical, and in this era in the coming 10 years or so, when we're aspiring to move fast in terms of economic growth, the greatest need and criticality would revolve around sustainable ventures coming out. And in that uh, context, our association with Sustainability Mafia, which has been providing a good support to us in terms of running these courses and the workshops, will go a long way in terms of encouraging more and more students to come out with the deep technology solutions to the problems faced by the humanity at large and more so the Indian economy. Else, the disasters are obvious and we trap to a greater challenges and the issues and the problems as far as the impact through my heavy rains, the other untoward things which are happening. Today, we say in a place like Delhi, it has become almost impossible for the human beings to live. Same is happening in some other cities also. So India is at a, I would say, critical moment in terms of giving a greatest focus to sustainable ventures, wherein a human minds of a young people have to get channelized by way of research and development initiatives. And I'm sure this particular course would go a long way in terms of helping us to come out with the more and more ventures which would be focusing efforts on sustainability. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.